Good afternoon. This is the Finance Pastor coming to you from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And what a day it has been in the stock market with many ups and downs that it has had today. Many people thought that this was going to be a bullish day, and what a rude awakening it had during the opening moments of the stock market. After all the gains that it had this morning, it quickly turned. And in the middle of the day, the stock market decided that it wanted to reverse course and actually ended up positive for the most part. The S&P finished positive, so it did the Dow Jones. The Nasdaq just was a laggard just for a little bit, but all in all, not a bad day in the stock market considering all the topsy turvies that we had over the last few weeks, and with the amount of impulse that the market has been moving 100 points, 60 points, 180. A lot of people feel uneasy. There's many people that have recouped some of the losses that they have had over the last few weeks, thanks to some of the works that President Trump has been doing. And we are seeing what are the effects of the tariffs will have in the economy. So far, we have noticed that there has been a lot of uncertainty, and many people feel uncertain. But those who are standing with President Trump believe in the effective leadership that he is doing, and we're believing that everything will take course and will take its place as long as we stay the course and we play the long game. Many believe that China has always thought that they can always buckle the leaders of the United States, but they know that they can't not do it with President Trump. And we are in it for the long haul. And China is going to have to make that decision to come to the table and deal. And that's something that they're not used to. So this regime is getting a taste of what a real leader is, and we are seeing those things being played out in front of the world stage. There's many people that are looking for the demise of this country, but I am bullish on America. America has been good to so many people. I know there are people that feel that they haven't, but all in all, America has been a beacon for truth, for righteousness, and has been a friend to those who have uh, befriended her, and also has stood with Israel. And there's a blessing associated with that. So we're going to look at what has transpired in the stock market in the last day. Monday morning blues. It is, for many people, it wasn't a terrible day, even though the futures were very bullish this morning. We feel like many people had the fear of missing out. But we saw quickly that the markets changed. There was a lot of sell orders once it hit like a certain barometer in the stock market, but quickly it bounced up. And we're seeing that potentially there's certain indicators that this could be a way or a place where the stock market might be a laggard for the next few months. And I expect the stock market to go sideways. I expect it to go sideways and maybe have different types of movement until we get a resolution in what's happening with the world, with the tariff situation, also what's happening with Ukraine and Russia. That has a huge, huge impact on the economy globally, and our partnership with many other countries, and dealing with the issue of what is BRICS is a very important task that President Trump will have. If BRICS is formed, many of the things that have happened for America may no longer happen again, as far as wealth, as far as just strength, and as far as leadership. BRICS was being formed just to stand up against the United States. With fair warning, we've had a lot of bad leaders over the last few decades that have ran this country really uh, more as probably like a charity case, is really getting the things they want and not really giving out. But I want to share my screen with you guys and really look at what we are seeing in the stock market. And I'm going to share that screen with you guys. All right, we are looking at the S&P 500. So today we see that the S&P was up about 3 points, $3 and 52 cents. That is typically a what an average day generally looks like in the stock market. When you see the S&P moving 10 points, 15, 20 points, That is something that is very um, unheard of, because if it's making a move like that, there is something that is really making that stock move, whether it's going up or down. And these are the things that we want to look at. Is the S&P is looking for stability. We have come off the highs of November. A lot of the things, the Trump rally really has been erased. And anyone who has had their money in the S&P or the Dow Jones or the Nasdaq has really lost about 30 to 40% of some of their value. They've regained some of it over the last few weeks. But many investors, many just regular people who have their 401ks are really concerned about what's happening in the economy, and with rightful concern. But I believe that President Trump is steering this ship, and we have a leader who is a business person. And in order to make an omelet, you are going to crack a few eggs. So we are seeing here that the S&P is, it's really making some decent moves here. It's just hitting this line right here, but it's really bouncing off. You look at here, one could argue, I'm not saying this is it, but one could argue that we could see maybe a bottom in this area right here. But you never know, because this could be a place of building up, but no one really knows where it could go. Let's see, let me look at a draw a line there. I'm looking to see if this stock stays above this line right here. If this stock stays above this line, it could be a good indication that we may be hitting up. If it just crosses that line, I'm really looking at what this stock may do. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq really, yeah, it just has done not much. It's kind of like almost the same stat. 1 day chart. Let's get that wrong button. Technology, when you need it to work properly, it never does. And when you're live, you can't really fake this stuff here. Yeah, we're gonna look to another. Dow Jones will come to you later. We'll fix that. But Dow Jones, again, it looks just like the S&P 500, up 114 points. That's something that is very good for those that are holding 401ks. Those are heavy in GE, Caterpillar, John Deere, those type of U.S. staples. The Dow Jones really is something that you guys have been looking for, because the Dow Jones has really gotten beat up. It's gone down to that 38,000, 30. It's touched that $37,000 range. And that is something that has scared many investors who are heavy into the S&P and Dow Jones stocks. So that's something, order of concern. The VIX, it just it was a little volatile this morning, but it quickly went down. Nothing to really look at. Apple stock just beat the street. It went up a little bit, just eight, less than a point. So Apple has been downgraded to about by I forgot what ratings company. It wasn't like a big name one, but it was rated to like 140, and I find that hard to believe. But also, Apple doesn't reinvent, it doesn't invent anything. Apple has really has gone and carried the glory of the Steve Jobs days. Uh, I like Cook. I like Tim Cook. Don't misunderstand me. I think he's done a good thing, but it feels like Apple, like the mojo is not there. Too many products. Again, we go back to too many products where we need to dial it, close it back in, and just open up on and just keep with our core products. So Apple needs to start innovating a little more. It needs a little more, a jolt of like, I don't know. Is that it needs a jolt. So Apple, I'm looking for something like that to really like do something. But Apple is really heavy on cash, so that's one of the things that it's very good for the investors, that you know that Apple's heavy on cash. Netflix, another one that I absolutely love. I'm believing this stock is going to go to 1,200. I've been saying that for months. So that's something that I've kept a hold of. But like this right here, this n- push this down right here. But like this stock right here is just look at this beautiful run up. I mean, has been absolutely gorgeous. This run up since May of 22, from 151 dollars to 900 in 2 years. And many people think that you can't make money in the stock market. And this is the thing. There are many people that love buying and selling stocks. I'm I'm not against that. But there's such a thing of buying and holding. Now, many people like I remember that when Netflix and this stock has split too. This is a stock that I believe is going to go even higher, just because of what's coming down with the UFC, and I believe it will get that contract with Dana White. They're going to shell out the money, and it's really money talks. And UFC is one of those sports that's really growing in popularity. And it's one of those things that I like Netflix because are very aggressive in seeing where the next tidal wave is going. One thing to the credit of Netflix, one thing that I really like to the credit of Netflix is it's in their DNA to be progressive. It's in their DNA. Just what has happened with Blockbuster, how it came to pass that even thankfully Blockbuster didn't buy them out, but how they saw how Blockbuster didn't innovate and basically Netflix took their lunch. And this company has continued to innovate, and there are many people and engineers and many people who have built this, made this company really great. And if you're one of those engineers, if you work throughout the years, I want to thank you. I mean, you guys, we might not agree on every single thing, but you guys made a great investment and just made the culture in Netflix pretty cool. So it's in their DNA. I am bullish on Netflix. I'm still thinking this is going to go to 1200. If its stock splits, I'll be looking to add more position to this stock. I like this stock. I'm bullish on it. Let's go. Let's go to Q's. Q's again, 472 office highs of that 540. Again, this is another stock that if you want to make like a 5% return, a five uh, I would say 5 to 10% return possibility. This will be one I would consider, just even at the current price that it is right now. And I will also do covered calls on top of this stock. If this is a stock that you may want to consider, it's got dividend. Yeah, let's go. We don't need that there, but there we go. All right. Q's Jets. Jets, and I'm a New York Jets fan, but this stock right here is actually an ETF if you love traveling. If this is a stock that you're looking that it's a low cost type of stock that you could say, hey, I want to make 5-10% from a low cost stock. This would be one that I would kind of wait to see if it comes down maybe to that 18 8 1750. If it doesn't, even in this range. But this is a stock that if you buy there, it'll go to 22, 25, 26. It's not gonna make you super rich, but this is a stock that if you're patient, I also think these are the stocks that if you hold on, eventually they'll go into the 80s, 90s, 100. Just glorified savings account to me with these type of stocks. Nvidia, well, let's go to Target right now. Target again, this stock has gotten beat up again, beaten up again. uh, this is stock eventually, if I really believe there's institutions rebuying this stock, but they're waiting for it to drop into that 90, 86 range. This range right here, this 95, 100, 95, 80, this range right here. is where I feel like there's institutional buyers that are buying this at a discount. This is a stock that just by holding it, you'll double it. Th- That's what investing is. Many people want to make investing really mystical, but it's this is what buying low, selling high is. You buy low when the market drops, when everybody's panicking like they are right now. And then you buy and then you ride the wave up. One of those things that I love about this stocks. Royal Caribbean. Let's keep looking. Royal Caribbean. Another one that I spoke about this stock a few weeks ago. And I told everyone it was around 191, 196. I said this stock, if you buy it and you're patient, you want to make 20, 25%. Maybe the stock will probably go back around the 250 mark. This is a stock that I will consider. You kind of miss the bulk of the run, but if you still want to make 10, 12, 13, 14%, this stock is might be one I would consider. Nvidia, my baby, you've gotten beat up, and I'm not shocked if you keep going down a little more. If this stock goes back down, I believe it'll go to that 90, 92, kind of where right where it lifted off of. Kind of same thing. It went right back. But this is a stock I'm still bullish on this stock, but also it's overplayed. AMD, excuse me, Amazon, excuse me, Amazon. Again, you've gotten beat up a little bit after hours. I still love Jeff Bezos. If this stock stays in this range, you should be adding this to your portfolio. AMD, I think this stock is just riding down. It might go up if you want to make a little channel going up, but until it breaks this, if it doesn't break this line, this stock is going to continue to slide. I believe it'll continue to slide to the 80, excuse me, to the $58 range. I might play a put on this stock, actually, a long-term put. That might be something I'm a queue on there. Ford, you're finally starting to pick up. Ford is starting to pick up. So we like that. Ford, $10 went down 2 cents. If it wasn't for the dividend, I would have been gone in Ford a long time ago. But Ford is one of those stocks that it's if you're patient with Ford, which you have to be, you're gonna have to wait another year or two. But this stock will just double just by you buying it. That's a glorified savings account. Try to get, and if you're getting 2 3% on your money every month, every year from the bank, that's why many people like putting their money in the stock market versus a bank. So this is one of those things. Ford, a good company, bad leadership. Good company, bad leadership. Ford SPY, again, just following the turn. Again, I am really believing that this could be a mark of a turnaround here. I really do believe. This is what I'm seeing right here. Let me get rid of that. So finicky here. But yeah, this is another SPY. Meta. I'm really liking what Zuckerberg is doing. Zuck Bucks. I would not be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg creates the new mall of the world, which is probably called is Zuckerberg's Zuckerberg land. I don't know, but I don't know. I was trying to say Bloomingdale's, but Zuckendale's. I don't know. It don't sound right. But I really believe that Mark Zuckerberg is is going to make like Facebook like the mall of the future. Instead of physically going to a place, we're going to be actually just going to shop just on the internet, just like we're doing now. So that's something that I'll be looking at. Diamonds, again, diamonds, nice run. I mean, this is a nice run for the diamonds. Again, ETF. If you're an ETF person, look at this nice little run. I like this. US. So Russell 2000. If you are a credit spread trader, I would be looking, I'm getting under the 1700, 1650. If you're looking to make some credit spread, like you're looking at 10, 15, 20 cents max, depending on the day. But that's what I'd be looking at if you're doing credit spreads on the Russell. Tesla, my baby. Yay. Tesla right here. And one of my partners, he brought out a good point. He knows I like Tesla, but this could be, I'm not saying it is, but this could be almost like a triple bottom right here. Like this section right here could be almost a triple bottom. Now, that's yet to be seen. I still do expect Tesla to come back down. So after hours is falling, I expect it. So I own the stock and I have a protective put on it. So it's like I double dip, which it takes it helps me do one thing, gives me peace of mind first. The second is I already know that I'm not gonna make 100% of the profits. When I have a protective put, I'm giving up money in order to make sure that my stock is protected. Now, instead of making 100%, I'm giving up probably 20 to 35%, and I'm cool with that. And in a stock, if you can keep 65, 70% and still have insurance on it with a protective option put, this is something I will look at. So currently with Tesla, that's what I have. Uh, it's probably going to expire soon. So we're going to see if it runs down. If it runs down, that helps me make some more money. And if not, it is what it is. So we're looking at all this and go back here. Look at also, let's see, like company, what we got earnings. Apple has earnings. I was looking at the earnings Canada. I think Apple has earnings on Thursday. So that could be, yep, Apple has earnings on Thursday. You got a lot of companies that have earnings. Let me see if there's any other significant company that I could see right off the bat. Uh, do, 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 do. Eli Lilly reports. That's a big one. Eli Lilly is probably out of all the pharmaceutical companies, probably my favorite one, and to me is uh, a favorite, more reliable. After that is Johnson and Johnson, Bombardier, Block Inc. All right, Japan Holding. Some of these are all international. Let's look at any any other news. I'm gonna refresh this. You guys are seeing this is Yahoo Finance, so you guys can see what we have it here. You know, a lot of this, the Dow Jones erases the slide. A lot of people had this morning. Kind of take me off here. Oh, that wasn't it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we can see my pretty face. So you start looking at a lot of the news and expectancy that's been happening over the last few weeks. I'm gonna read some of the forecasts, and we look at as a lot of this is always going to be beat up on what Trump is doing. Most news is always going to be negative on what Trump does. Trump, Orange Man is bad. Orange Man is bad. We get it. We get it. We get it, folks. We get it. There we go. So we have S&P 500 races the slide, and that's one of those things. Is it raised for the fifth straight day? I expect some volatility in the stock market because the bullish run that it has had over the last 3 days was really significant. So you start seeing that over when they lost, saw that on Monday, last Monday. You saw a lot of panic, and you're starting to see a lot of people that are just they don't even want to look at their portfolio anymore. And it's not the time to run away and hide and just not opening up the mail. It should be you being active, proactive in your investing. We look at other ways where we can be good stewards of what God has given us. And we look at the news, and a lot of the news really helps us uh, kind of decipher a lot of what's happening in the stock market. It's not perfect because you have to understand that a lot of the news, a lot of it is information they want you to have, and a lot of it is just noise, noise in order to drive a stock up. And many people are good salespeople of stocks, and a lot of these CEOs, all of them included, are really good salesmen of their product, of their company. A lot, they got to sell the sizzle, they got to sell the investments. And you start looking at ways where you as an investor can take like what the the monies that you have and you've worked hard for, and you could look at investments and start placing your money there. You start looking at what car you drive, what products you enjoy, what's in your home, what do you love. You can start investing in the things that you love. uh, if you're married, what does your spouse love? And you start seeing that many of you here that have gifts that I'm unaware of, where you find your genius in a specific area or space or a subject that you're very knowledgeable of. Those are keys and clues where you can start investing in those type of products, in those type of things. We're in a season where many people are wanting to take control over their investments. You need to stop giving up your power to someone else. I get a chance to speak to a lot of entrepreneurs on a daily basis, and one of the key things is that they say that they don't want to learn how to invest or move forward. Is they say that they're scared of what people are going to say. Well, who cares what people think? Everybody has an opinion. An opinion is like a butthole. Everybody has one and it stinks. So, whatever you choose to do in life, everyone, you're always going to have a hater. If you don't have a hater, you're not really doing anything to really further society. If no one is attacking you, if no one is fighting you, then what you're doing is not really that of worth or of value. See, every entrepreneur, every successful person that I have studied or read, they've gone through battles and in different seasons. Not every entrepreneur always has a coast up. And sometimes during, um, before pre-COVID, we had a lot of people that just live for, I want to get the fancy car, I want to get the fancy house, I want to take these fancy vacations. And those are nice things, those are good things. But sometimes you want to live for purpose. I want to live a life full of purpose. There are many people that trying to sell the sizzle of this lifestyle. Do you want to be a person that wants to live for purpose? Many of you have gifts that are dormant. Many of you have are waiting for something to happen in order for you to find your place called there. Many of you are looking for opportunities in different places, but what God is looking for is for you to move. Stop being complacent. We only have, we always say that I'm living today, that I'm today I'm living. Well, we only die once. We live every day. So every new day is a new day to live. Every day is a new way to take the day by this horns and just seize the day. You get an opportunity to really achieve and affect the world. Some of you have books inside of you that have not yet come out yet. You start looking at, asking yourself these questions: whose tears affect you? Whose enemies are you willing to confront? Whose story causes you pain? And or some of you, your message is geared to a younger version of you, and you're wondering why I don't feel fulfilled. Why do I'm always feeling frustrated? A lot of it has to do because you're not operating in the gift you know you should be doing. I know we all have to work. That's that's part of the curse. By the sweat of your brow you'll eat bread. That's the 40 hours of the week. That's your income. That takes care of your family. What are you doing with the other time? That's where your wealth is created. Your 40 hours a week, you get 40 hours to your job, which you should because that's your income. The next thing you do is what you do with the other 40 hours. You got to sleep. We understand that. But your hustle time, what are you doing with that time? Are you watching TV? Are you just doing nothing? Are you vegging out? Are you just scrolling? Those are the things that you need to change. You have to change habits. There's sometimes where God has to separate you from things or places or people, a complete separation where God has to almost tell you no. And sometimes the reason why he tells us that is not because he's trying to be cruel. Sometimes the direction and the road that God's trying to take you to is the perfect road designed for you. You know, there has been many times in my life where I've had tough times, even as an entrepreneur. Like 10 years ago, I lost almost everything while I was already like having a baby and I was already investing already and lost it all. And the thing that it taught me is that sometimes some of the most difficult seasons that you go through can be some of the most beautiful seasons in your time where you grow. You see, there's always a negative connotation given to people who are green. They say that you're not ready or that you're not done, that you're not ready. But you know what's beautiful about a fruit that's green is that there's always room for it to grow. And as long as you're growing, as long as you taking out going out and doing something for yourself and learning and exercising those mental calisthenics, you're always going to be finding a place that when you're growing, when you're learning, you're growing. When you start to feel like you know everything, you start to rot and decay and the fruit falls off the tree. What do you want your name to be synonymous? What do you want your legacy to be left once you're gone? Maybe some of you need to ask yourself, what will people say in my funeral? What do you want people to say in your funeral? Do you want to say he was lazy? Or do you want to say he was a hard worker? He took time, he seized the moment, she seized the moment. Sometimes we have to look at that 80, 95 years that we get a time on this precious earth is really a blip when you consider it compared to eternity. Eternity's a long time. And we look at how we can operate in our modus operandi and how the things that we can do to generate to really make a difference. There's a scripture and it's real simple. It's called talks about redeeming the time. Redeeming the time. Time is the most valuable commodity that we have. It's something that I can never get back. And you start looking at seasons where you say to yourself, man, where has the time gone? So challenge yourself in 2025 is where will you be next year in 2026 at this time? Are you going to be in the same place or are you going to move yourself forward? And moving yourself forward doesn't mean that everything is perfect. Moving forward doesn't mean that all your ducks are in a row. Moving forward is that when things don't seem like they're going to be fun or that seem that nothing's going to happen or come to pass, you keep moving because your destiny has a purpose and your destiny is worth all the sacrifices. Many of you have books inside of you that haven't even come out yet. Those dreams, those visions that you have been praying for, and you've been waiting for God to give you a miracle, I'm here to tell you that God's saying that you're the miracle. You're the one that brings about your salvation. You're the one that brings about your healing. You're the one that brings about your wealth. God is looking for willing vessels, and He called you. You are more than enough. Everything that God has given you to do, or the purpose that He's called you to do, He has given you every tool that you need to complete your assignment. Now you need to find the people that God has called you to partner up with you. And I believe that that place is going to be a place that you call there, and you're going to find it. And I pray the blessings of God over each and every single one of you as you look towards this week. All my entrepreneur friends, that you get in the hustle, you work. And sometimes some of the best things you could do is, when you don't see things coming to pass, is just working your butt off, and clinging on to the promises of God, clinging onto His word. I speak Psalm 91 over each and every single one of you. And I love each and every single one of you. I hope you have a phenomenal week. Until next time.